You know, in religious iconography, cross-culturally, you may have noticed, I've noticed that in other traditions like Hinduism and Buddhism, you have figures, bodhisattvas, divine figures, etc., who are featured with a feminine counterpart, consort, if you will. And some of them in overtly, depicted sexual positions. We have to be very careful we don't misjudge that. It's really a mystical symbol of the marriage or the union of absolute and relative. But be that as it may, what's really striking, what struck me more and more, is that in Christianity we have this unique mystery, this incredible mystery which doesn't seem to have any comparison anywhere, and doesn't, in fact. You have a feminine and a masculine figure. Here it's Mary and her child. The divine figure is a baby. It's amazing. What a wonderful mystery that is, that Mary is the mother of God. And it's almost always depicted with that child who's clinging to her. And Mary is the mother of God. That's the very feast we're celebrating today. Because she's the mother of Jesus, mother of the Word made flesh, a person who has both a divine and a human nature. And so, as the Council of Ephesus declared in 430, because she's mother of the divine Word in the flesh, she's the mother of God. And she's the mother of Christ in all of us, really. She's the mother of the church, as Paul VI said, and the mother of the life of Jesus in all of us. But there's another aspect of Mary's relationship to Christ, to God, which it doesn't receive enough attention, traditional though it might be. And we can get a sense of what this is from the fact that Mary is not just the mother of the church, but the image of the church. As the liturgy says, she's the image of what we're all called to be. She's the fulfillment of the Virgin Daughter Zion, the people of God who are espoused to God, who are the bride of God. And the final image, of course, in the book of Revelation is the New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven from God, arrayed as a bride prepared to meet her husband. So Mary is the image of the church in that way as well. The church is the mother of Christ, in baptism, bringing forth Christ in the hearts of all, as I just said. But also, of course, the church is the bride of Christ, fulfilling the Hebrew prophets in which the people of God are the spouse of God, seen so often in the prophets. So Mary is also the bride, kind of like those other symbols, but in a very special way. And yet, how important it is to realize this. That Mary, like all of us in the church, are called to be the bride, are called to be the spouse of God, are called to be transformed into God. Now, you don't really hear Mary spoken about much in this way. It can get a little confusing for people. For example, St. John Paul II preferred to speak about Mary as the spouse of the Holy Spirit, which of course is true too. Being perfectly united to the Spirit, always following the Spirit, just as Jesus did in his own life. But when you get into the divine mysteries, the usual relationships with Father, Mother, Son, Daughter, they don't hold up anymore. Because it's divine. It's not just human. It's a mystery that far exceeds our understanding. So as the fathers of the church love to say, precisely about the Christmas mystery, they said, in the Trinity, the Father has a Son without a mother, and on earth, the mother has a Son without a father. So it gets a little confusing, or I guess rather a little mysterious as to how all these relationships fit together. But Mary is, to use the famous Latin phrase, sponsa Verbi. She's the spouse of the Word. Not just the mother of the Word, but the spouse of the Word. As we're all called to be in the church, to be transformed into Christ. And we see that already in the reading today. We receive the Spirit of the Father, the Spirit of the Son. The Father gives us the Spirit of the Son, crying out, Abba, Father. We are joined to the Spirit. We are transformed into Christ. And therefore we breathe His very Spirit out into the world. We breathe His very Spirit back into the bosom of the Father as He Himself does. As we're transformed into Christ, we are the spouses of the Spirit at the same time. Or as Paul says elsewhere in a very rarely cited, magnificent verse from 1 Corinthians 6, comparing it to the union in the flesh of husband and wife, he says those who are joined to the Lord are one spirit with Him. So as we're transformed into Christ, all of us, including Mary, who's already there, we breathe that Spirit, our one Spirit with Christ, and we breathe that Spirit back into the bosom of the Father. As John of the Cross said. And in our final transformation, Mary and everybody else, we're transformed into Christ, and we breathe the Spirit of the Son back into the bosom of the Father, and participate in the Trinitarian mind. And that's what Mary does too. She's there in a special way, especially united to Christ, especially giving birth to Christ in us. But she participates in the same mystery, espousing the Word. You don't believe me, huh? Well, one of the greatest testaments to this is the liturgy. And this is very, very traditional, it goes back to the Middle Ages and beyond. In our monastic liturgy, for example, the office of Mary, the liturgical office of readings, matins of Mary, features 12 responses, none of which speak about Mary as the mother of Christ. All of them speak about Mary as the bride. So, if you look at it, and if you sing it thousands of times as I did in the monastery, you realize that this was a mystery which most spoke to people, certainly in a contemplative life, realizing that Mary participated along with all of us in this mystery of the mystical marriage with the Lord. So most of the verses, most of the responsories are quotes from the Song of Songs, which nobody ever talks about. But most of them are quotes from the Song of Songs speaking about, Mary, obviously, it's her office as the spouse of the Lord. And a couple of the responses also are from Psalm 45, which is the marriage of the Messiah and his queen. So they're also bridal imagery. So that's the mystical dimension of Mary, which our forefathers brought to the forefront, meditated on deeply, and which we are hardly aware of. Why is that? But what a tremendous mystery. If she foreshadows, she's the image for us of what the church is called to be, the bride and the mother of Christ, perfectly united to Christ, transformed into Him, and breathing His Spirit into the world and back into the bosom of the Father. So let's deepen our appreciation of the mystery of Mary, our understanding of Mary according to some of the most beautiful elements in our own tradition, and realize that she's not only the mother of the Word of God, she's the bride of the Word of God.